Hey everyone, how are you doing? Back for another Beatles video, and I have to give credit to Fit to be Tie-Dyed, Paul. Thank you, Paul, for the inspiration for this video today. I want to give credit where credit is due. You remember when we got the news the other day about Let It Be coming out. Peter Jackson's going to be revamping it and overhauling it and doing a whole new film with all kinds of footage. I won't go into that again. You can go back to my Let It Be video a couple back. But one of the things I showed in my video was the VHS tape, my original, of the Let It Be film. And that must have inspired Paul Fit to be Tie-Dyed, because he did a great video. Go check it out if you get a chance, about the Beatles on VHS. And he showed off some of his favorite Beatles VHS tapes that he had in his collection. So I told him if he didn't mind, I was probably going to do a response video to that and show some of my VHS tapes of the Beatles. So here I go. I'll go through it as quick as I can, and the one I couldn't find, and I know it's around somewhere, was my Help. I had Help in the white cardboard slip case with the Beatles in the Alps there with the their black snowsuits on and everything. That's what the cover looked like anyway, and I can't seem to find that one, so I don't have that one to show you folks, but I'll show you everything else that I was able to dig up. The first one I have is just kind of one of those, and I think there's another. Yeah. It comes in two different boxes, and I have both of them for some reason. Someone must have gave me them. But it's called The Legend Continues. The Beatles, The Legend Continues. Two different covers, yet the sides are the same. And the top is basically the same. Alright, and in the first one, plain black VHS tape. Second one has a white label on it. So I'm not sure if they're different when they were issued, but they're a little bit different. Basically, it's just newsreel footage, interview stuff, non-musical, non-official stuff. And I got those way back, it says on here 1990? 1990. I'm not even sure. When did VHSs really go out and DVs come in fully? I don't even know that time frame, but anyway. This was called Fun with the Fab Four, documentary of the 60s. Again, newsreel footage. Many of you have probably seen this one. It was all over the place years ago by Good Times. Good Times VHS. And I remember that Good Times name because they put out a lot of weird and obscure stuff back in the day. And this Fun with the Fab Four looks like it's 1980 something. The eyesight's going, folks. You get older. That's it. This was called The Beatles U.S. Arrival 25th Anniversary, Alone and Together. Nice little cartoon image of them on the front. Description on the back. Okay. And 1989. This was called just The Beatles. Alright. This side has George. The other side had Paul. Basically, again, news footage, Bed In for Peace with John and Yoko, that kind of stuff. Non-official, of course. This was a pretty good one, a rare collection of Beatle First. It's got to be a bootleg, but it's not authorized by the Beatles or any other entity. It has the Washington Coliseum, the Beatles Come to Town, first color film appearance. That's the one, we've seen it recently, revamped in the Ron Howard film with them doing Twist and Shout and She Loves You. It's kind of a rough version, but they have it here. Washington Coliseum and the Mercy Sound, a documentary about the Beatles. So they're all three good little films, but again, on these old VHS tapes, folks, they're not the best quality. This was a pretty good one. This was kind of an official one that came out. It was on Sony. It was by Ready Steady Go Productions, special edition The Beatles Live, featuring 12 classic tracks, Twist and Shout, She Loves You, from Ready Steady Go. And it did officially have authorization to put these songs and the music on this video. So this one came out, again, 1985, it looks like. Dick Clark International. So this was a compilation of all the Beatles appearances on Ready Steady Go. And what I also got around the same time, which includes a lot of Beatles, are these. These are kind of rare. They're the Ready Steady Go classic rock collectible documentaries. Has anyone seen these or have these? There might be hard to come by. I'm not sure if they came out on DVD later, but you have volume 1. Okay. And you get a cornucopia of stuff here. You got the Beatles doing You Can't Do That and Can't Buy Me Love, Dusty Springfield, The Animals, Lulu, Them, The Searchers, Jerry and the Pacemakers, Dave Clark 5, Rolling Stones, The Who, you know, that kind of stuff. It's all from that show, Ready, Steady, Go in England. So you got volume 1. On this one, you get the Beatles doing Kansas City and Babies in Black and an interview with the Beatles. And that, oh, I'm sorry, that's volume 3, but I'll show it to you anyway. Okay. And volume 2, same similar cover, and you get the Beatles doing Twist and Shout, She Loves You. We get Beach Boys, Freddie and the Dreamers, Gene Pitney, Rolling Stones, Jerry Lee Lewis, you know, Dave Clark 5 again. These came out a long time ago, 1984. I got this 3-part set from Ready, Steady, Go. And again, this was a compilation of all their appearances on Ready, Steady, Go on Sony. So that was official also. Here's my first Magical Mystery Tour on VHS. It's a little flap to it. I'm not going to take it all out. Then paper might fall apart. It's so old. But there's Magical Mystery Tour. First one I got. Do you remember this documentary, Making of a Hard Day's Night? Hosted by Phil Collins, who had a little small appearance. If you look like with a microscope, you might be able to spot him. But he was in the crowd scenes for A Hard Day's Night, apparently. That's pretty cool. Here's a kind of bootleg, but it is the complete Washington Coliseum concert. The Beatles concert in Washington. But don't forget, back then, this is 1987, this came out. Twist and Shout cut off halfway through when you didn't get any of Long Tall Sally, where we've learned since in the ensuing decades that in fact the full Twist and Shout and Long Tall Sally do exist, and in fact you can get them now. So this was incomplete back in the day, but it was all we could get for the Washington Coliseum show. Another cool one you all might remember from the early 80s was this one, the Complete Beatles. Before there was Anthology, there was the Complete Beatles, and it was very popular. And I have one of the first printings or whatever copies of the Complete Beatles because it came in one of these flip cases, not the slip case. So you open it up like a book, and the VHS tape comes out. I'll show you that. All right, MGM. A lot of material on this. This was the gold standard for a long time, folks. This was the documentary to get about the Beatles until the Anthology came out. And again, I don't know the year, but I know it's very early. You know, it's in the 80s somewhere. Here's my first version of A Hard Day's Night. And again, I know it's a very early version because again, it's not in the slip case. Same cover as the slip case. However, it's in one of those plastic book type cases. Do you remember these things? You older folks like me, remember the early VHSs came in these very expansive plastic open bookcase type setups? Like a foil label on it, Hard Day's Night. Still in great shape. I really took care of these. And went back in the little book like that. You close it up, snap it. Had a little seal on it when you first got it, and that's the way it came. So that's an oldie. I'm not sure what edition that is, what year it came out, folks, but I know it goes way back. Again, like Paul showed in his video, I do have the yellow Submarine on VHS from the 90s with the yellow packaging, which I thought was a nice touch. In the yellow case. And last but not least, I do have the full Anthology on video. You know, I got this before the onset of DVDs, folks. You know, I had to get it. I love that series so much. And here it sits now, because now I do have the DVD version. And who's going to play this ever again? But I'm going to keep it for collectible purposes. So there you go, the Anthology. Okay, folks, that's it. I couldn't find help, like I said, and that's around here somewhere. But anyway, I want to do a quick hit for you. Under 10 minutes again. I'm doing good on these Beatle videos. Hope you have a great day. God bless, and hope you enjoyed this. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.